Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Capricorn. Capricorn, we got some jumpers for your overlying and underlying energy for this reading from the Akashic tarot deck. So I got one card for the overlying energy and one card for the underlying energy. They wouldn't jump, so I had to pull them. And then we also pulled cards for you for the underlying and overlying energy from the Spiritual Awakening, the Universal Law deck. Law of Karma came out by itself. That's the overlying energy. And then you got two more cards for the underlying energy. I think those actually jumped out too. I don't know. I had a little trouble getting your cards to come out for your overlying and underlying energy. So as soon as we get your cards to come out for the energy oracle, we'll go through those and show them to you and basically tell you what that energy says and figure out what else is going to come out here. We have 7th chakra Archangel Uriel on the table. So we have our crown, which is actually interesting. Pretty much goes with what the other messages are saying right now. All right. Get at least two more cards from the energy oracle, please, for Capricorn. Two more energy cards. If not, we might pull them. If I don't get two more, I think I'm going to pull three. Alrighty then. One more. Huh, okay. All right, we'll get back to that. Look at that. Okay, so overlying energy from the Akashic deck, we have will, wisdom, and mind. So this is a major arcana, right? It's card number 20. So that card basically is like, it's like power, balance, and expression. It's like, if you can see it on here, they have the two elements, the fire and the water. Looks like you can see it pretty clear, right? So those elements are present, and then it's basically like power, will, love, wisdom, intellect, mind, like working with ascended masters. This card is saying all that, right? And then for the overlying energy for the Universal Laws deck, we have the Law of Karma, which is you are being called to a higher purpose. So kind of like basically divinely laid out for you is what I'm getting. And like I said, all that other stuff I mentioned is in that overlying energy. And then in the underlying energy for the Akashic deck, we have the Ark of the Covenant, right? And the Ark of the Covenant basically is telling us that we're living true to our karmic contract, basically. It's like successful working with like professionals, basically. Ark of the Covenant. So it's basically like we're supposed to embody the energy of working with these ascended masters that we're living true to our karmic purpose. That's what that card says. And then we have the Law of Karma up here, which is really interesting. And then working with professionals and working with ascended masters, like it really does go together. Plus you have the Law of Growth. Be steadfast in the faith and stay the course. So a lot of times too, we don't think that we deserve or we've earned the right to work with ascended masters. This is saying that we have, and we did. Like we were on our path. We grew, we exercised our growth to the point where we got ourselves to this spot. And then the Law of Allowing. Stop trying to fix, change, or control anyone. This kind of almost seems a little bit like you wanting to put the brakes on like working with ascended masters because you really just feel like you're not sure if you're on, like if you're going in the direction that you're supposed to be going. Like you just kind of feel like maybe somebody had like mislabeled you. Like, oh, that's not me. That's, you have me confused with somebody else. I don't work with ascended masters. You do now, Capricorn. So we also have, okay, so did I see a couple angels? Yes. So we have the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. So we have a crown chakra on the table. A lot of times when we are getting messages, downloads, that's where we're getting them. And then we have the 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. So we have our throat chakra on the table, right? So it might be that something, you know, with our Ascended Masters has to do with downloads and with using our voice. We also have the man holding a coin. So I always say it could be a man, could be a woman, could be holding anything, right? It's basically just having something that you cherish. We also have happy family, which is usually either what we have or what we're working towards. Usually it's what we're working towards, what we want, right? And then cornucopia, which is everything that we could ever want. Anything that, whatever... It's part of a feast. You can have anything. You could have everything. It's everything. There's nothing that you could think of that isn't in that pile right there for yours. It's yours for the taking. So, it doesn't really say as far as like working with Ascended Masters what we're doing here. We're trying to grow. We're trying to allow so that we can step into this position of basically what we would, for lack of better words, call qualifying to work with Ascended Masters. Technically, we're already qualified. This law of growth is saying that we did what we needed to do to get there. This Ark of the Covenant is saying the same thing, that we're living true to our path, that we're living true to our course, our karmic path, right? And then we have this throat and this crown on the table. Let's see what Alice has to say about this. I kind of feel like I see a little bit of doubt on the table as far as like what you think you're capable of, Capricorn, or that you're not, like, it's kind of like what I said about being unsure of being on the right path. Like, this is literally like an underlying energy. Like, this can't be right. I feel like I had a similar conversation with, I don't remember what are the other signs, but it was kind of like, you know, that's where you are. I mean, you may not see it because you may still be looking at like a past version of yourself and, you know, not seeing yourself for who you are now, not seeing the change. Look at that. Is that falling? Yeah. You're still changing. That's why. That's why. That's why you're kind of like the law of allowing. Here, let's see what else we got. Yeah. Okay. So we have falling, the unknown, descent, momentum, change. So this is, to me, always the act of changing. That's why I said you still haven't fully come into who you're going to be when you're working with these Ascended Masters, but we sort of have to start somewhere. We don't sit around and wait until we, you know, get to the top floor and then decide to go out and, you know, do whatever it is we do. We start practicing in the elevator, right? Like, as we're changing, we start to have the notion to deal with these Ascended Masters, and then we start thinking about ways that we can communicate with these Ascended Masters, and then we kind of step forward, and then we do that whole checking process of like, are we sure that this is our path kind of thing, right? Are we sure? Am I doing it right? I don't know. It just sounds a little bit grand, right? This is uncertainty. Choose who you will become. So it's not like anybody's sitting on the sidelines saying, well, you can't do that. You can't change and go in that direction. I mean, you still have free will, right? You do have forget who you are, right? Right, this is interesting. All right, so you do have forget who you are. So conditioning falls away. Memory no longer defines you. So this is always like the deprogramming card that I have. So this is kind of like saying, you know, at some point, either you or someone else told you that you know, that basically gave you the indication that where you are right now was never where you were meant to be, that you don't deserve to be there, that you haven't done the work to get there, that it's just simply not for you, not for you, not for you. If it has anything to do with ascending or using your voice to like defend yourself or using your voice for anything, again, it might not be for you, right? Uncertainty, that's what's for you right here. So we have follow the white rabbit, which is usually like when you kind of see the opportunity to go for it. But then you also have lead the way. So you have lead the way and follow. So lead the way is be a leader. Show others how it's done. You can help others. So this is kind of like once you figure out what's going on. Again, working with Ascended Masters, it could be anything. It could be healing. It could be anything. So what they're telling you is when the opportunity comes to take it, don't sit around assuming that you have a bunch of changing that you still have to do, or that you need to get better at whatever it is that you're trying to do. You don't necessarily have to believe that whoever you were is whoever you are right now. You can be whoever you want to be. That's the whole point of having free will. So if you're not sure, but you're being told here that you're on the right path, right? And you must feel it in some capacity, right? You must have felt the growth that you went through. Even if you were on the wrong path, what would be the point in all that growing? And then what would you need to allow exactly? I mean, because it's going to be uncomfortable, right? The thing that's coming towards you is going to be a little uncomfortable because it's going to seem so big. Right? And it's telling you, and like I said, I told one of the other signs that when something comes for you, the opportunity comes for you to take it because it didn't come for you on accident. This law of karma, this is balance. This isn't like trying to trip you up so that when you try to move forward in life, you can't do this or that. This is the actual card that's telling you that the thing that's finally supposed to come in to balance your life is coming in. It doesn't always come in the time that we want it, or it doesn't come in always necessarily in the way that we want it, because especially if we don't know what's coming, how do we know, what circumstances to prepare for, or what it looked like if we did see it? It's telling you if you see an opportunity to take it, you see a situation where you can grow, where you might have to go out of your comfort zone a little bit to allow, especially if it feels right, like you're on the right track. It's gonna expand you in some way, to take it. And then lead the way is usually like when you see something that needs to be done, or you see that there's an issue that other people can't see, that you're the one that's supposed to step forward and you're supposed to affect the change, kind of thing. So we have you move like change. You have change, the act of changing, and then you have moving away from what is so that you can affect change. And this isn't just for you, this is for others. You can help others. That's why you're working with Ascended Masters. It's not just for you, it's so you can help others. That's why the law of growth is here. So you can be much better than what you already are. You can allow that change so that you can help more people with your voice, with what you know, with your joy, your light, your giving. You have this unlimited ability to give. People have given you a hard time in the past because of it. They didn't believe who you were, or they didn't believe you were who you projected yourself to be. They wanted to make you something else, to keep you uncertain about who you are, because they knew you were unique. They could see it way before these Ascended Masters came along. People could see that you were different. Even if you didn't see it. You had to have seen it a little bit, though. Something that set you apart. Even if you originally thought that everybody was like that, at some point you must have seen that they weren't. It could be anything that we're talking about right now. I would like one more card, please. One more for Capricorn, as far as any messages or who else could be involved in this situation. Yeah, I think this is part of the reason why you're having such a hard time stepping into what this growth is because of the things from the past, from outside influences. All right, so let's see what those outside influences might be. So we have first quarter moon in Taurus, release control. I feel like Virgo got something about control. There might be a Taurus involved. We have full moon in Pisces, forgive. This card did come out before, I think in the last one. And new moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. So full moon in Pisces, new moon in Pisces, Taurus could be involved. Release control, attuned to the divine, forgive. Well, we already know why attuned to the divine is here, right? Forgiveness, usually because when we have to forget who we are, there's a reason why. Someone else programmed us, left us uncertain about who we are, put doubt in our head when it came time to move forward on something, or maybe even made us feel bad about like changing. Even though maybe we didn't even intentionally change, the situation might have changed us. We have all this stuff we're carrying around with us that's holding us back from our greatness because we don't see it. Belief isn't on the table, but uncertainty is. And anytime happy family comes up, it always comes up with the connotation of if you don't believe that you could have a happy family, then you won't have one. So in this sense, it is sort of like belief is on the table. Uncertainty, definitely. Release control usually would indicate there might be some kind of block. So if you didn't believe, that would be a block. But even if belief wasn't on the table, there's some kind of block. Forgiveness is on the table. So again, reasons why to forgive, but no real reason as to what we need to forgive. Like in other words, what was done, except for the fact that we may have been programmed. Sometimes that's not as upsetting as it sounds. It depends on what we have to unprogram. But in this situation, holding you back from moving, like growing, and then like, let's just say moving with ascended masters. I mean, I could see how if you're really struggling with that, it was something that you wanted to do, but something was really holding you back based on something that somebody else has said that now you're having trouble not perpetuating, which is causing uncertainty. I could see how that would make somebody feel some sort of way towards somebody else to the point where they have to forgive them. But remember, you also have to forgive yourself for allowing that person that much control over your life. Right? If you're trying to control the situation and then underhandedly giving somebody else control of your situation and not realizing it to the point where you have to forgive yourself or others and forget who you are, then maybe you need to pay attention to that and not so much what they said, right? Because you seem like the type of person, because this is all you, to where you're smart enough to realize what is and isn't true, even if you hadn't changed, and then after you changed you realize that something that somebody said wasn't true. You know, at some point while you were changing, you had to know something. As the change was being affected, you had to have realized at some point that something wasn't your fault, right? And then you have this throat chakra. So maybe you were able to say it, maybe you weren't. Maybe somebody else was talking too much and that's why you're supposed to forget who you are. Or you're just uncertain in general. If you have to forget who you are and you're uncertain, again, I can see the complication of trying to lead the way or even decide when it's time to follow the right white rabbit. You're still trying to release control and forgive at that stage. You're not really in that spot where you're totally healed and can move forward, even though you're on track and everything that's coming to you is what's supposed to be coming to you. You might have to kind of attune to the divine. You might have to ask for help. You might have to, you know, I was going to say pray, or, you know, just talk to your angels. We have Gabriel on the table and Uriel to help you, to give you the strength to move through this situation so that you can grow, so that you can feel better about, be more certain about working with the Ascended Masters and not feeling so much like you need to control any part of that situation, including how you feel about it, and just attuning to the divine and forgive any situations that need to be forgiven so that you can move forward, because this is abundance. This is happy family and abundance. And this is abundance too. I mean, this is money, but this also comes, there's a man here or a woman, but anyone coming towards you here. And I feel like for some reason the blind spot is like somewhere over here, but I can't see it. So I really feel like we're getting to the point where we need to pull the blind spot, Capricorn, and see what might be stopping us from being able to just go through this growth or this allowing to get to where we, you know, this is our karma. This is what we're heading towards no matter what. So what's holding us back from that? What is our blind spot? Capricorn, just remember one thing. If you don't come to the blind spot, if you don't come to the blind spot with us, if you don't come to the extended with us, just remember the two most important things here, besides the allowing and the growth and realizing that you're on a path that's karmic, you're going towards balance, and that's all that it is. To make sure that you take anything that's coming towards you as anything that you see as an opportunity for growth or for change, to take that opportunity as you see it, as long as no red flags are going up for you. I mean, obviously, if you're uncertain, you want to make sure that you're certain, but if you see an opportunity, especially if it's out of your comfort zone, you might want to take it. And then remember also, when you do see the situation that needs to be changed and nobody else sees it around you, that you're the one that has to step up and make the change. Nobody else is going to do it because they can't see that it needs to be done. So with that, let's pull the blind spot. If this is your reading, Capricorn, meet us over at the extended. If not, until we meet again.